Hi, everyone. This is Dr. J, and welcome to the Project 2 overview video, where I wanted to give you some context around Project 2. I know it's hard to get everyone together live, but so I'm just going to record this video. Now, if you have any questions about Project 2 after watching this video, please email me your questions. I'll be glad to answer them at any time. So let's just jump right into it. So, Project 2, it is the creation of a podcast, or more specifically, a podcast episode that you're going to create. And it is due on Sunday, October 27th at 11:59 p.m. It's worth 20 points of your overall grade. And I think what's important here is that the goal here is for you to select one of the key principles, one of the six main principles from the book that we've been talking about, whether it's the redundancy principle, the contiguity principle, the modality principle, giving you a list that you can select from. So hopefully by now you've had a chance to go to the Project 2 checklist that I have in the week 7 folder, where you go in and you tell me which principle or your top two choices for which principles you want to focus on for your podcast. And I've emailed you back with the confirmed, yes, please go ahead with this particular topic. But the goal is that you're going to create a podcast based on one of these principles. Now, the outline is listed here in this general section below, where it says here, the general outline is to provide a short summary about this principle. What are the benefits and watchouts when it comes to this principle? Give an example of how you would apply this principle to either a lesson, a document, a learning video, or e-learning in your classroom, and then provide a conclusion, closing set of thoughts on your understanding or your thoughts about this particular principle. Now, I've seen students take a couple of creative approaches to this. I've had some students do an audio podcast. I've had some students do a video podcast. Either is acceptable in this case. I've seen some students with the video podcast actually have slides. They have slides up where they talk through the examples and give examples of what of the principles in action. So, for example, here's an example of what the redundancy principle looks like: the good, the bad, the ugly, etc. Right? So you have those options as well. You can have a presentation, you can have a couple slides, maybe you have a Canva set of images that you can use to talk through your topics. Whatever you'd like to do is fine. I'm all for creativity, but you have to submit some sort of media file, whether it's audio or video. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that your podcast should be between 5 to 10 minutes in length. I want to highlight this: 5 to 10 minutes in length. Please, no more than 10. No more than 10. Keep it simple, keep it short, because ultimately I'm going to watch this video and your podcast, or I'm going to listen to your podcast, depending whether you use an audio or a video, and I'm going to grade it. But then in week 7, I'm also going to ask you, specifically in week 8, in week 7, I'm going to ask you to post your podcast into a discussion board. And then in week 8, I'm going to ask the class and your classmates to review it and give their thoughts on the podcast episode. But what's more important here is that, again, it is between 5 to 10 minutes. Again, you can use any tool you want to record the podcast. I would recommend YouTube. It's fairly easy to use. You can create your video using a tool like whatever video tool you have inherently built into your laptop already. Alternatively, you could use a free podcast, not podcast, sorry, a free. I'm losing my train of thought here. You can use a free tool like Podcast-O-Matic. That's what's confusing with podcast. Podcast-O-Matic, um, or any kind of free video tool to record your audio or video. And then you can use YouTube as one means of sharing it with the crowd. You do not, please do not pay for any services. SoundCloud, I think I know you used to have a free service. I think I still believe from what I've seen and what I've read, you could try to set up a paid SoundCloud account. I don't want you to do that. Use what's free, use what's available. So for me, um, tools such as YouTube really provide a better alternative because it's free. But if you are using one or are aware of other free tools that are available, or any of the free tools that may exist either from the Maxwell book that you're reading on podcasting, or if you encounter any in your research, please use whichever tool you're most comfortable with. But the point is, we should all be able to click on that link and view it. YouTube is probably your best bet and probably one of the easiest to just get uploaded. Um, Beyond that, again, you must register for your topic. First come, first serve. So you need to do that this week so that I want everyone to have a unique topic. Everyone's focused on a specific principle. And that's what we should have happen this week. Again, 5 to 10 minutes. If you're just over 5 minutes, great. What matters here is that you cover the topics laid out here in the general outline and that you follow the rubric. Now, the rubric is pretty straightforward in that, um, again, I'm looking at the presentation. Was it informative? Was it appropriate? Um, if you are going to do a video podcast and you include some citations, you should include some citations and references in your presentation. Obviously, if it's audio, you can't really do that, but if you are doing video and you are putting in some quotes, you should highlight where it came from. And if you're going to quote something in an audio podcast, although you can't physically quote it, what you can say is Clark and Mayer describe modality principle as, so at least, we know that this idea came from Clark and Mayer, or any other resources that you want to use to talk about your selected principle. But what matters is that you put in your presentation. It's informative, it's clear. Look, I'm not grading you on the quality of your voice, okay? Um, we all can't be Barack Obama. Barack Obama is an amazing speaker, with amazing inflection and just amazing skills as an orator. I'm not expecting you to be that person, but as educators, we all talk in front of our students all the time. So it's important that you are clear and concise in your message. When it comes to the presentation topic, again, I want to make sure that you are talking about the modality principle. Definitely reference Clark and Mayer because this is where these ideas originated from, and make sure you include it in your presentation. So it seems like a very short and simple project. One of the things I have found from past feedback from students is some of them will try to record it once and then they make a couple of line flubs or they say something incorrectly and they have to go back and restart it. That may happen. I'm just going to be very honest. That may happen. If that happens, that's okay. Just re-record it. That's why we're keeping it short, folks. 5 minutes minimum, 10 minutes maximum. Okay? If you have to go back and record it, not a big deal. But don't wait until the last minute to record it. That's the one thing. Do not wait until the last minute to record it, because then you're just going to upload whatever's available, whether it's good or bad, right? Make sure that it is worthwhile because I'm going to view it. Your peers are going to view it. I don't think anybody wants to put anything bad out there, right? So again, take the time to schedule time for yourself to record it once you've gathered all your thoughts about your principles and you've used the outline in this document to find your guidelines and how you want this podcast to flow. So with that, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you some idea and context. Again, please don't buy any special equipment. Please don't buy any special software. You can use the inherent tools that are in your laptop pretty much to create your video or audio podcast and then upload it into a platform like YouTube, or if you want to use Buzzsprout or other tools, then it's perfectly fine. It's up to you. Use what works best for you. Use what you've used before. that'll help minimize any extraneous cognitive load on anyone's part. So hope this helps, folks. If you have any questions, please email me and we will definitely go from there. Thanks again, everyone. And more importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.